This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Yeah, I'd like to call the April 21st meeting of the Easthampton Historical Commission to order. This is for the business for the public speak. There's a lot of public here today. Not full house too. When you get settled for public speak now. Great. You got the message that it was a road closure? No, you didn't get it. No. They closed the road. So. Yeah. Here. Okay, nobody for public speaker, yes. Identify yourself.
Hi, Historical Commission. My name is Elodie Chickwin. I live in Ward 1, the same ward where the town lodging, town farm property is. I've been a resident of Easthampton for 49 years. And I'm here to speak to this Historical Commission on behalf of myself and my family farm, which is also located in Ward 1, Precinct 1 on Oliver Street in Easthampton. So hello, everyone. And thank you for our commission for volunteering your time and your efforts to ensure the preservation and management of historical properties in our now city of Easthampton. My father, Bill Chickwin, has maintained and cared for the APR hay fields that surround the town lodging for 40 years. He has annually renewed his lease and fertilize those fields and maintain them and hay those fields for 40 years. And this spring, as the hay field started to turn green, his request to renew the lease was denied by the city of Easthampton. As you know, I imagine those farm fields are a vital part of his farming operation and the feeding of the cattle that live on Chickwin Farm here in Easthampton. But I'm here today to ask each of you to consider the cost to Easthampton citizens as a town farm is considered for disposal and proposals are considered for its rejuvenation and renewal in future. I also ask that you consider a proposal that would not only meet the requirements of the restrictions that are on that property, the APR, the historical, the affordable housing, but would also share in the future with a spectrum of Easthampton residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I mean, we will be hearing from Heather a little bit later. So approval of minutes. Unfortunately, I don't have any minutes written up for this from last week, last month. Correspondence, likewise, there's no correspondence. 100 Brick Street demolition request. We have somebody here.
Yes, I am Matt Gall. Definitely want to talk about the 100 Brick Street request. The house, there's a lot of really costly issues over at 100 Brick Street. There's a lot of asbestos in the drywall, flooring, and all around the chimney. The house also has knob and tube wiring. Upstairs there's one full bath, and there really isn't room for two baths up there. But the biggest reason is the foundation. The foundation is a little bit bigger than a crawl space. I'm 6'4", and the basement's between 5'9" and a little bit over 6 feet. And it's block foundation. It also is very very damp down there. Those are some reasons that I'm looking to take down 100 breaks.
Sure. I think one of the first things that we'd like to do as a commission is take a tour of the property.
Sure.
You can see if it's we want to look at either preservation or allowing you to demo it. So at your convenience, we'll take a look at it and we'll move it along. How's that sound?
That sounds good.
Can we set up a date now, or do you want to hold the meeting?
Sure. What's a good time for the commission to see it?
For everybody here.
I can't do this. I can't do Saturday.
Okay. I don't know. What's good for you guys?
For me, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
And you?
Pretty much Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday's good.
Is you available next Tuesday?
Yes.
Wait, what time?
What time next Tuesday?
Better for me.
Is that earlier?
No, later.
Later.
Is better for me, but Kelly.
Perfect.
time?
We just have a meeting in the morning, that's it.
6 o'clock p.m.
6 p.m. is great.
Yeah, we'll meet at the property.
Sure.
Right. Anything else?
Okay, that sounds great.
At 6 p.m. We will see you over there. Do you have anything else right now that you want to mention, or?
Not really, no.
So we'll meet over there next Tuesday and see where it takes us.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to point out, it looks like you have some guests that are trying to attend virtually.
Where's
Didn't
that?
get one guest.
I didn't hear you.
I was just trying to, somebody, it looks like they want to get into the meeting.
Mike, that's me, so I
Oh, that's you.
can screen.
Okay. Okay. She's already here. You're all set.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let
Okay,
me-
thank you.
Thank you.
I'll ask to be readmitted. I was doing it so I can screen share for the.
Yes, okay. We have you in there?
I just got kicked out. Let me try again.
You're getting here. Pass that to everybody that's here, so we have a record of. Okay, next proposed project for the Easthampton Lodging. Heather. Tackle. That's some like football.
Like football tackle. Okay.
Hey, very good.
Mind if I approach the bench?
Not at all. Stand on.
I should ask you before I start. I see you always have a long agenda of things. How much time should I budget for? I can kind of do a long version or a short version.
Well, it's not as busy as it looks on paper, but, so what do you need?
I can skirt through things pretty quickly too. Let me get some technology and get your presentation on.
Okay.
So good evening. Thank you. Thank you for me join. I mean to join and present. I wanted to come before the Historical Commission to tell you all about a project proposal that we're putting together for the Historic Lodge. And by way of, I think Mike, you said you all had an update recently from the city, so I can bring you all up to speed and where the city is in the process on the property as well. I think you heard a little bit from Ms. Chipman there as well on it. So this isn't necessarily the only proposal that the city will see for the property. Even though I told that, but I can also give you general update. Before I begin as well, in the room on virtual online is my partner Lawrence Roan from Farmer Veteran Coalition.
Well, Lawrence.
And
Good evening.
so not in the slides, let me just level set. The slides are all about the project proposal that we have, and I just wanted to get you all oriented so you know what one potential opportunity is. But the city process is, at least Farmer Veteran Coalition has been speaking with the city for about 2 years around this property. And before that, you all might have heard Valley CDC was working with the city, and they walked away for a couple of different reasons. I don't think they ever put it in writing, but the neighborhood wasn't happy with new construction and furthering the housing density there for sure. Also, it was questionable whether they could have even made it happen with the way the zoning works for that property, and 2.5 acres is just the portion that is for the housing that can be built on outside of the agricultural preservation, as Ms. Chipman mentioned. So there's been challenges historically, and the neighborhood came together and found Farmer Veteran Coalition, specifically Lawrence, and came to see the property and had a grand vision that we'll go through today. In that time, there's been mayor changeover. There's been city councilors changeover, elections, et cetera. So it's been an extended timeline discussion. And also in the appraisal that they did for the property, they weren't able to do what they were planning on with Valley CDC of just shepherding the property to a good developer because it requires an RFP process. Good municipal procurement law requires an RFP process, a request for proposal process that goes out into the public to solicit potential proposals for the property. And so that's what the time has taken to do. So where the city is now is it was sitting with the property committee, which is a subcommittee of city council for a long time, as you may have heard. It's now been, as of the last city council meeting, been proposed to the city council to dispose of the property through the RFP, and key in the RFP is the evaluation criteria. So what the property committee is proposing to the city council of the criteria that the RFP evaluate proposals on. In a nutshell, it's saying, make sure, I think you all will welcome, make sure that the restraints are able to be abided by, the affordable, the historic, and the agriculture. Anyone who develops that property needs to be able to integrate and abide by all 3 of those restrictions and keep them going as they are on the property. So that's the city process. Tomorrow night at city council meeting, they've opened it up. They don't have to by law, but they have decided to allow the public to speak. So anyone interested in a historic property might want to show up and say and vote voice that interest to the city council. But just rest assured, even if you don't have the time, they have put that in the RFP as the evaluation criteria that the historic, of course, constraint be continued on, restriction be continued on. So does that give you good quick update on where the property is in terms of the city process? Any questions? I mean, I might not be able to answer them because I don't speak for the city, but what I can.
I don't believe I have any questions at this point. It was kind of a surprise in some ways because we don't really get regular updates unless we go looking for them.
Yes,
so things happen and it flies under the radar. So. Exactly.
I was surprised that you all had the updates too, but a lot going on in the city right now. I can imagine and have sympathy on all sides. So, but I think hopefully, because of the restriction there, the historic piece of the property is.
I'm pretty sure it's on National Historic Register.
Yes, it is on National Historic.
One of the few town farms left.
Yes.
Yes. And that's what excites us about it. So if I can jump in, I'll give you a presentation. I have a lot of slides here, but I'll skirt pretty quickly unless you all stop and ask questions or want to, just to give you a sense of what we were thinking. That might be a great reuse of the property. Mike, would you mind closing out the the people so that just the slides are bigger on the screen? Is that okay?
Got it. You're the computer guy.
Kevin?
So,
Okay. Here's the slides here today.
This is who we are. I mentioned Farmer Veteran Coalition. They would be the lead for the programming. I mean, in a nutshell, to jump to the answer, our proposal for the property that we think will be really greatly renovating or rejuvenating the historic heritage of the property is a veteran training center for regenerative agriculture. So the heritage of the property, if you all know it at all, the poor farm was mentioned. I don't say that so much anymore. The town Launching Farm was about giving a place of sustenance and respite for those that might not be able to provide that for themselves, and give them that ability to provide for themselves. Connecting the land with the lodging was the history there, and that's essentially what we are planning for veterans in the future, and bringing that back. And so Farmer Veteran Coalition is a national nonprofit. I'll talk about them in a second. They're going to be the leads in that project. Renewal Initiatives, myself, is a nonprofit started to develop this project, specifically for this project, to develop this project to rejuvenate the town lodging and farm is what Renewal Initiatives. My own personal background, by the way, is a couple of decades of renewable energy experience, but also in that experience, working with affordable housing, working with municipalities, state agencies, all the kinds of things that you need to make happen to develop a project like this. It's my background. And then we brought to the table as well an impact investor. AHP, Advocates for Human Potential, is a for-profit doing government consulting, but they do it for homelessness, human services. They're really a mission-minded. And so this isn't a part of their business, but they're so mission-minded that they were willing to put up the seed financing to help develop this project, development bridge financing. So they're our impact investor. This is in a nutshell who Farmer Veteran Coalition is. Lawrence, do you want to give a 2-minute and speak to Farmer Veteran Coalition?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. Good evening, everyone. Farmer Veteran Coalition is a national organization that focuses on the transitioning and aiding veterans in transitioning back into their communities, and understanding that that transition never ends. So having the tools and the opportunity to transition and learning a language of translation of those skill sets they had is what we focus on. We're located in 26 different states, each chapter in 26 different states, and we have a 12 additional chapters in formation, and Massachusetts chapter is in formation as we speak. We have 10 different regions. Massachusetts falls into our Northeast region, and it is a very big focus of the Farmer Veteran Coalition that we strengthen the support for the veterans in that region. We attempt to provide market access and support to our more than now 57,000 members. We're approaching 58,000 members throughout the United States, and we provide resources and training. We're looking, if we're successful in this bid for this location, to create an institution of apprenticeship and journeymanship or master for those individuals, affording them a greater capacity to be able to serve their communities and provide for their families.
Thanks, Lawrence.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think you all know, is it a fair assumption to say everyone knows the town lodging and farm and history here? I'll have to, it's a beautiful report, by the way, and it's really what got us, as I mentioned before, excited about reading the history and all the work at Valley CDC. There's a lot of write-ups about the history of the property, and really gave us, a beautiful vision to kind of, as I said, rejuvenate that and bring that. So we like to show this, but, ultimately, allowing people to be able to be self-reliant as veterans transitioning in. You might have heard there's a challenge with that, veterans transitioning. And being able to serve again is, similar to the history and the heritage. as an aside, one of the names we're thinking about, by the way, just say it to this commission, I haven't said it to others because we want it to be a kind of a crowdsourced, community sourced naming. But a heritage farm is one of the things that we've been thinking about because it's so important to this property. You all might know what it looks like today. And the city came out and said it's about $1.5 million back in 2020 just to get it livable again. It's been out of use since 2022. It probably should have gone out of use well before that for people living there and then having a place. Valley CDC estimated 17. I think it ended up going over to 20 million. That's a lot. Some of that was because of new construction. Some of that is because I like to say affordable housing. And we're trying to do things a little bit differently, but still protecting and making and beautifying the beautiful historic property that it is. So the budget plan right now is about 7 million of upgrades just for the property, just for the lodging itself. That doesn't include the investment in the land and the training facilities, you know, and using other funds that would be plus the cost of training, et cetera, that would be the course of the project. So a lot of investment that is being planned into the property.
How many people are you anticipating it could accommodate?
Yeah, I think I have a slide. Let me skirt to that. You guys have seen the overhead is next to the community gardens. Yeah, I'll pause here. So right now it's a 23, I think it is, single room occupancy, dorm based, basically community kitchen, community showers, etc. We plan to renovate to individual units, studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, really livable, and but also honoring the community aspect of it still and having community space, not just for the veteran participants themselves, but also for the community, what we envision being a community hub and community places as well into the building. So about 15 to 17 is what we think may be doable, but that's very pre-designed and we need to, you know, if we were to be awarded, then we would spend the money for real architects and such to confirm all that. But yeah, we'd like to try to show a vision of what it could be, which is what it is, but just, you know, gotten back to its working order and how beautiful it is, but also how beautiful it could be with investment. You know, so we do have these are rough plans and layouts of what it could look like on the inside and be able to accommodate in the plans there. So as far as the model of Hive and what we're planning there, there's really kind of 3 parts. It's the farming apprenticeships, as Lawrence mentioned, is that, but it's integrated with housing. For them, Farmer Veteran Coalition has launched Hive, we call it, and I'll show that on another slide, but that's the name of the programming, the training called Hive. But they have different versions, micro all the way to this would be kind of campus-based, a longer apprenticeship 2-year program versus shorter programs that they've already done. This would be their flagship, Farmer Veteran Coalition's flagship training institution. And the campus model. And that's the farming apprenticeships, but also importantly, of course, integrated affordable housing for the veteran participants, as well as we would love to integrate non-veteran participants into the housing as well and have set aside and planning on a couple of units. Integrating into the community is a very important aspect of the training model that Farmer Veteran Coalition has developed. So we don't want to just put the veterans on another planet over there, right? We want to integrate them into the community, and part of that will be bringing the community in, not just with the hub that we was mentioning before, but also with the housing too. Okay. And then the third piece is the community hub that I spoke to before.
Might integrate some of the local farmers also.
That is our hope. There are a couple of different ways. Number one is the Chickwins, and they have a long heritage with that property that we honor and respect, and would like to be working with as integral to that property. And then also community hub for the rest of the farming community too, and really Easthampton being also a flagship and center for farming in Western Massachusetts, both for the farming community as well as the veteran farming community. As Lawrence mentioned, we are standing up a Massachusetts Farmer Veteran chapter. There's already 300 members of Farmer Veteran Coalition in Massachusetts. So we're just putting sorry, I'm also a veteran too. So as the military, we like to put a flag down somewhere. So we're planting our flag, and our plan would be to plant the flag in Easthampton for it to be a center for farming community and veteran farming community. And that's really important. So if you ever ask me the question of like, what are we going to be growing? I can't tell you because we need to figure out what the ecosystem is already providing and fill in gaps and not compete with the chickens or Park Hill or, the neighboring farms. It's going to be together with the local farming community. So I won't show this now, but I'll send these slides over later and you can watch. There's about a 5-minute video around the HIVE program that the Veteran Coalition has implemented together with USDA funding. If anyone has heard of NRCS, is a subsidiary of USDA that is National Resource Conservation Service. They have helped fund HIVE and come together as partners with Farmer Veteran Coalition because there's really missing training. There's farming training, including there's farming training for veterans, but there's not holistic training. And so HIVE is really about being holistic of the whole person. So it's not just farming training, it's also business training to make sure they're successful. But really importantly, it's the behavioral health training as well, and being about the whole person, because if the whole person's not there, then there's not going to be success, right? And the whole person also includes the community integration. As I mentioned, part of the training and the programming is community impact. It was going out into the community, so this local farming community, the participants would be going out and supporting local farms and hopefully providing them resources as part of the programming. And then likewise, the local farming community coming in and impacting veterans in that way too. And the last piece I'll mention too is just divine location that we like to say, because the proximity to the VA in Leeds as well, and also part of the program. And you might have heard it's kind of hard as a veteran to figure out what your benefits are. And to get access to those services. So that's also a critical component, working together with Tom Merrick, the town, as the town's veteran service officer, as well as, connection to Leeds, et cetera, would be part of the programming to help these veterans transition. All right. So in that video, you'll see some veterans that have been impacted by that. I haven't spoken too much about regenerative agriculture. There's a really small graphic on there about agroecology, but the type of farming training that it is, if you've heard the terms regenerative agriculture, it's a fancy word to say basically, farm in harmony with the ecosystem, right? And bring back the wildlife and all of that. So that kind of training of that kind of farming is what is, and that really is also helpful in healing, and it encourages the next generation of farmers. Right? And there's a challenge for aging farmers being able to pass off to the next generation. What we found, what Farm Veteran Coalition has found and others have found, is that the next generation is actually excited about treating the planet well, and that regenerative agriculture is the way to do that in the agricultural space. So this, I think, is just a kind of a recap, 2-year, 4-season plan and experience to really get them to that ability to go off on their own. I spoke about this already, so this is a little bit of a repeat. I guess I'll stop here too and talk about the historic character. The place is beautiful, right? And just getting it back to its original condition is all that's needed. So, my answer is pretty easy. If you ask me any questions about the historic preservation and nature, is it's sort of just going to bring it back to life in its existing condition. And the restriction requires that, right? And from what we understand from we have used a historic preservation consultant for some early diligence and advice, as well as Valley CDC has a whole write-up from a historic consultant if you haven't seen it. A lot of it's just about the exterior. Slate roof we can't touch, and we need to get the exterior back to what it is. We do plan on also trying to be as energy affordable and conscientious as possible as well, and trying to do both of those sometimes are at odds. But our understanding is we'll be able to do what we can on that in terms of like air source heat pumps, electrifying, et cetera, by putting things on the back side, not the street side. But that is TBD, going through the historic preservation process. So all of that will have to be in compliance. And importantly, it'll have to be in compliance because I don't think I have a slide on this, but part of our funding stack in order to make this happen are historic tax credits. And they're pretty onerous in order to be able to have access to those tax credits on complying with the historic preservation requirements. So I think out of anything in this property, historic preservation is most protected because of the way that we're planning on doing the investment here. I'll pause there because I've spoken really quickly, but this is kind of especially the historic piece of it. Any questions or feedback? Because we're presenting not just to let you know what's going on, but also to seek feedback before we go and submit a proposal to the city's RFP to make sure that we're incorporating the commission's thoughts.
You're very well organized.
Yes.
And I think, we've been waiting for a long time for something to happen. I think it's a good use of the property.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any questions at this point, but,
Okay, well, we have my contact information. We have now a website open. I would have you always welcome feedback before.
and of course, a lot hanging on tomorrow and moving forward too, right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear the city will move forward. So it's just a question of getting your voice in about what you would want to see there and happen. And like I said, if you looked at the RFP and evaluation criteria, the historic piece, I think is pretty. But to me, one of the important pieces about the historic component is what is this used for and what should it be used for going forward, and honoring that heritage is what we think we fit well into. So this is just a kind of a slide on the impact. To us, it's not just about Massachusetts, while it's very important, the local farming community becoming a farming community hub, but also these veterans going out and having that impact wherever they go. So it's not just necessarily Massachusetts farmers, it's being able to go have Easthampton be impactful entire country, and this being a national model here in Easthampton for this type of really training that, like I said before, does not exist in the ecosystem of veteran farming.
What's the meaning of the colored grid here?
The different color states does not mean anything. It's just to be able to see the different states, I think. That was the question, yeah. And these are, this is impact. It's rough estates, and there's so much more in terms of impact than we can describe in numbers and metrics. But hopefully it gets excitement around, Easthampton being this national model. We've done a lot of work so far. I won't bore you with this, but like I said, it's been 2 years of a lot of conversations, a lot of legwork to get to this point of proposing. So we hope to be successful in that RFP process, which we would expect at this point in May. And hopefully it'll probably be a couple of months for them to review bids, evaluate the competitors, and eventually do that. We are planning on coming here Memorial Day weekend. We thought the process was going to be a little bit faster, but we're already planning, and it's important, of course, weekend and commemoration time for veterans, and we're committed to this community. So we're showing up Memorial Day weekend and working with Tom Derrick and veterans and local farms, and we have a launch of the Massachusetts Farmer Veteran Coalition chapter happening in Easthampton that weekend. So alert that to you. And I think that's it.
That's it. Great.
That's it.
That was wonderful.
That's real quickly. So yes, please contact us with any questions or concerns. And
Absolutely. Right. Thank you very much.
if I can figure out how to stop sharing, they come off. Yeah.
Okay. Real business now. Need to figure out when we're going to be meeting moving forward. You want to go back to Wednesdays? It seems like there's more rooms available.
Wednesday is
Yes.
fine with me.
Yeah. Okay, second or third?
The second Wednesday or third Wednesday, or
Yeah.
on the second or third Wednesday?
You're here.
Third looks better for me.
Okay.
Third Wednesday of the month?
Yep.
I will double make sure that that's clear. If it's not, then we'll back to drawing board. Okay, future projects, do we have anything that we're thinking of now, or do you want to just pass that over and go back for the updates?
Yeah, I don't know. Future.
Okay. So updates. First of all, we have the town clock. So I got some updates from Allison. She and Michael Owens met with a steeplejack who took a look at the clock tower and recommended an engineer that does that sort of work. And had a meeting with the engineer and they agreed to submit a proposal, and they never submitted a proposal. So the next step is an internal meeting to discuss releasing an RFP in the hopes of getting some responses. So that's where the town clock sits. I was wondering as I was going through this, is if we want to get a little more aggressive on it, or more involved. It would be good. Talk to Allison about it. Thinking that might be, get a little more of a push if we assert ourselves. School reuse, Arch Communities is continuing to work on obtaining the necessary tax credits for the project. Government shutdown delayed the National Park Service review and approval process for the properties to become eligible for historic tax credits.
So they're going ahead with it. Right, so they're going ahead with it.
Yeah, but Arch did get the approvals they needed in time to submit in the January MSC historic rehab tax credit round. We'll be submitting again in the April round, and we'll continue to submit until they have accumulated a sufficient amount of credits. They will also apply for housing tax credits, but that is not expected until next year. Overall, things are moving along according to plan. For reference, their development agreement with the city anticipates them closing on their financing and starting construction in December of 2028. Yeah, so things will continue to be quiet at the schools for a while longer. Nothing on Brookside at this point. I guess we could talk to John Madison. Town lodging we just heard about. Okay, so one more caveat here. The city council will be holding a public hearing on the disposition of the properties on April 22nd, which is tomorrow. Once the council holds its hearing, votes to declare the property surplus and authorizes its disposition, the city will release a request for proposals for the acquisition and rehabilitation of the property. So that was one of the potential proposals. And RFP review data criteria includes compliance with the existing agriculture, historic, and affordable housing deed restrictions on the property. One Ferry Street. We did send a letter, and I did confirm that we had approved the demolition of those buildings back in, I think, 2019. That's things any go. Just some hazardous material remediation to be done, and which will allow for the demolition of the boiler house, which was the building not right on the road, but behind that first building. The first one on the road is pretty ornate. And then portion building 7, demo building 11. Wants demo work completed this year. According to Mike, I could have a somewhere. Historic signage is complete. Now we just have to install it. The environmental consultant, Atlas Engineering, and have their draft demo abatement scope and plans ready early next week. Once we review and approve the project scope and plans, we'll go out to bid for demo contractors in May. Hopefully demo will start May to June.
When are they gonna start renovation of the existing?
I don't know. Not sure what's going on with what's remaining.
With the other buildings?
The Home City Development, which was I believe is the apartments that wanted to put in. I have an update from them. Kind of long. You want to read it?
On the other side of the ones on the other side of the canal, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been that big empty space. Building permit, well, I'll just highlight this here. Building permit was issued by the city of Easthampton in July 2025, has been extended. the cost of construction continues to rise because of all what's going on.
Surprising.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really project timeline, September 26th, demolition and site remediation complete. October, this is this coming October. Financial closing, start of construction 27, June 27. Construction 50% complete, February, construction completion, certificate of occupancy in June of 2028. Project stabilization and permanent loan closing, so that's where they hope to be anyways. Let's see. Okay. Updates are passed. So they hope to break ground by the end of the year. The canal, I think we're still waiting on additional documentation. Mass Historic requested additional documentation before it could determine eligibility for the National Register. Northampton stepped up to fund the additional documentation work with the understanding that a favorable determination from Mass Historic would lead to a new request for communities to contribute funding for the work on the National Register nomination. No updates since then. So that is it for the updates. That was not reasonably anticipated. Would you like to say something? Yes. I have to apologize to you because I was supposed to get in touch with you and I got sick and I kind of forgot about you.
So I don't know, it's almost 5 months. So I'm just, well, since we have a meeting, it's 5 months and demo delay is a 6 months. So I'm just wondering what's your plan? We have like so many people visited for the both reason, buy the property or just buy the house. But selling a house for $1, we have a report from here, from the Taylor agency. And they had so many people came, but nobody's such interested. The total visited, they have 277 people.
Yeah.
And they didn't get anything back, not a single person back. So I will ask Taylor agency to give us a more detailed report by the name or the timing and everything. I put it to property as in the market by the selling by the owner. We have 8 people interested who came and 3 people never came back. 3 came back with checking the inspection report and everything. And we have a report too, which is showing the foundation is a real bad. Civil engineer and the other engineer got a report.
Okay.
But I don't know, like I'm allowed to be speak or not today, so I didn't bring all the report.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
if you put in a
I mean, you can
next meeting or agenda or something, I can bring all the paper.
Yeah, we can put you on next month.
Yeah.
And because I think that'll be 5 months or 6 months.
No, that's gonna be 6 months.
6 months,
Next meeting, if you are planning on
Yeah,
third week
yeah,
of
we'll
the
definitely put
Wednesday.
you on it.
So I think like in May 13th is gonna be 6 months.
Okay. I mean, that'd be, you say something?
Yeah, I just want to commend you. I really think you have done exactly what we hope everyone who is up against a demo delay will do.
Right.
Thank you.
No, we patiently waiting. So many people said even from this town employees, so like I comes here every other week and asking questions to the planning department and so like some people I can't say, but some people say like, wow, you waiting and you have like a real patient. I say like, well, I'm waiting. We will take 6 more months. If there is somebody comes up, I'm willing to be paid enough money, $50,000 or something, but didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because I think it's such a hard things to be.
But that's what we ask, is
No,
that
yeah,
that the effort is made.
Yeah.
And that's why I just want to thank you and
Yeah.
commend you again
Okay.
for making that effort and even going above and beyond to assist in an attempt to find an alternate to the demolition.
We tried, but didn't work out. And I think we are still planning to keeping some of them historical if there is some of them things is savable, we will save and reuse it in a new building.
Good.
So the architect and engineer and all, they are working on it, but I didn't start much going because, the soft cost right now without the funding as a like private investor
Right.
is cost like at least like $10,000 or $15,000 for each apartment unit. So once just somebody said about cost going, the project, what you guys talking about, I just bought the Mike's building. It's called Mill 180.
Yeah.
And I discussed with the Mike and I'm really surprised and I'm giving him like such a credit because he's putting like almost like $500,000 per unit in that Fair Estate number 75.
Yeah.
That project is close to be $40+ million for only 75 or 77 unit, which is like average house in Easthampton, maybe around 450,000 or $500,000. That's only 2-bedroom apartment is gonna be cost him that much money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's doing phenomenal job. He's doing great job. Yeah. Because I don't think so anybody is taking that much risk, putting like close to be $40 million in a old factory building. But he does a great job because the building what I bought from him, a Mill 180, is one of them unique building in the Western Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really unique. He kept everything inside same and
Yeah, we walked through when they were just tearing stuff apart and it was,
yeah,
it's amazing.
it's a really great, nice building. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it. Set to schedule next meeting, which would be what, the third? Third Wednesday, all right.
Third would be 20.
Break Street.
Adjourn.
Second.
Okay, next meeting will be the 20th. Probably here. All right, thank you, everybody.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.